Hello, fight fans, and welcome back to Pride Resurrection, a historical video series dedicated to the Pride Fighting Championships, where with each episode we'll take a look back at a specific event from Pride's history. And today, dear viewers, we're going to be watching Pride 23 Championship Chaos 2. It's me, the most dangerous man alive today, and I'm sorry to report there's no good vibe for this one, but I have a sneaky feeling he's been lurking around somewhere, and don't worry, the good vibe will be back soon enough. After a terrible earthquake rocks the entire world, a mysterious doorway has been opened, one that leads to an alternate universe, the Chaos Realm. Normal relations between the two universes are established, and that is when the president of the Chaos Realm, Grammy-nominated pop artist John Tesh, arrives with a delegation. To further foster good relations, President Tesh suggests that they hold a massive MMA tournament to celebrate friendship, where 9 of the greatest warriors from Earth are to be chosen to fight, in which they'll take on their Chaos Realm doppelgangers. After the Earth delegation agrees to the event and absently sign all the required documents in legally binding forms, a surprise stipulation is revealed. The universe that wins the most at the event will have complete ownership and total control of the other universe. Oh no, we've been duped. This is Pride Championship Chaos 2! Held on November 24, 2002 at the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan, over 52,000 fans have turned up for the festivities, with 9 chaotic fights set to take place. Tonight will be treated to returning faves like Heath, Ricardo, Arona, Murilo, Fedor, Wanderlei, Sakuraba, Frye, and I would like to say the biggest of them all, Nobuhiko Takada in his final MMA bout. Out of the 18 men appearing tonight, only 2 are new faces. Hirotaka Yokoi, who takes on Jerrel Venetiaan, and Arsene, questionable pro fighter with only 1 prior fight, takes on Sakuraba. There's a lot to discuss with that matchup, but I'll save it for later. Before we get into our event, what else was happening in the MMA world around this time? 2 days prior to Pride 23, UFC held their UFC 40 Vendetta event, headlined by the grudge match of Tito Ortiz versus Ken Shamrock. By all accounts, this event was a massive success, with over 13,000 fans packing the MGM Grand Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, bringing a $1.5 million gate, while the pay-per-view buy rate was double that of previous UFC shows. This event was one of the turning points for the still fresh Zuffa purchase of the UFC, and it would allow some much needed momentum to be built. As for the results of that event, Andrei Arlovsky beat Ian Freeman via TKO in an undercard match. Robbie Lawler defeated Tico Goshen via KO. Carlos Newton defeated Pete Spratt via Kimura. Matt Hughes defended his welterweight title against Gil Castillo, winning via TKO due to doctor stoppage. Chuck Liddell beat Renato Sobral with a highlight head kick and punches TKO victory. And in the main event, Ken Shamrock's old ticker gave out once again, as his corner called an end to the fight in between rounds 3 and 4. A little bit of a down moment for an otherwise great card. With all that out of the way, let's get into it. Pride 23 Championship Chaos 2! Since this is the American DVD rip, we're treated to Steven Quadros, who welcomes us in. Quadros tells us that at the Tokyo Dome, you can bet the ponies. No mention of making inflated bets on Takada as the underdog, with one of the Yakuza thugs lurking around the building though. Boss is then brought in, and he's playing the part of a horse bettor and saying he has the perfect system for betting the horses. This is important for later. They both run down the card, and the recap ends with a sudden cameo of Don Frye looking very pissed. Ah, you see? This was that foreshadowing from earlier. We then head to the Parade of Fighters, already in progress. We won't get to see much of this Parade of Fighters here, since that's just one more opportunity for UFC to block this video, which they've been doing quite a bit lately. So I'm sorry, fight fans, I can only include a little snippet of the Parade of Fighters.
Oh, this is the match that Ninja This guy is about as much energy as you're ever going to find in a mixed martial art fighter. Murilo Ninja.
Audience, look at the shot.
Oh! Man,
The crazy Texas horse.
they love this guy over here. Heath is he's not a big trash talker. And either is this guy. This guy barely talks at all. Leaves all his talking in the ring. Emelianenko, Fedor from Russia.
And the audience loves him too.
The highlight of the parade of fighters has to be Don Frye, who gets a massive pop when his name is announced, but then gets an even bigger pop when he emerges in a gi. He's going to be taking on judo champ Hidehiko Yoshida, so that's why the gi made everybody go crazy.
Don Frye. Enough said.
Watch this. Look at him. Coming up in the gi. I love it.
Oh boy. And he's going to come out dressed like Don Frye? I don't think so. Wow.
Then it's on to Boss and Quadros backstage, who break down our first match. Hirotaka Yokoi versus Jerrel Venetiaan. Yokoi is apparently a grappler and a submission fighter, and this fight will be a striker versus grappler affair. I know I've seen Yokoi fight prior to this, I just can't remember where. It's straight to the ring, sans walkouts. Too bad. And God, I know I've seen this guy's fucking ear before, but I just can't place what event I've seen him in. It's Jerrel Venetiaan versus Hirotaka Yokoi, our first matchup. Jerrel was last seen at Pride Shockwave 3 months prior, where he won against Matsui via decision. For this event, he's 31 years old, and his MMA record is 3-2, with 1 no contest. Hirotaka Yokoi from Japan is making his debut for Pride Fighting Championships. He was 22 years old here, and his MMA record was a perfect 8-0. He's fought prior in rings, but he debuted for Shuto at Shuto Reed 8 in August of 2000. He defeated Masaya Inoue via decision there, and sorry, no video of that one. A year later, at Ring's 10th anniversary, he fought Ricardo Heath, another Black Dutch kickboxer like Jerrel Venetiaan, who himself would later face Jerrel Venetiaan in a very memorable bout at a Holland Free Fight event. Rings, Kings of the Magic Ring. We recently watched this fun event at a live stream, so go check it out. It's on the channel. Anyway, Yokoi defeated Heath via armbar at Ring's 10th anniversary. Several more wins came for Yokoi in Rings before Yokoi moved on, making a stop at the Deep promotion. At Deep, 4th Impact. This was in March of 2002, and at that event, Yokoi defeated his opponent, Memo Diaz, via decision. Then Yokoi went to Antonio Inoki's UFO promotion for UFO Legends in August of 2002, which was the last event for the UFO promotion. Yokoi beat Bulldozer George in a different styles matchup. It must be noted that every match that night at UFO Legend was listed as a, quote, different styles matchup, which is just another term for some shoot style fakery. So that must mean that every bout that night at this alleged real MMA event were all bullshit. Despite this, that match against Bulldozer George is listed on Yokoi's pro record, and he won it via rear naked choke. So that makes me question at how legit Yokoi's record really is. That fight at UFO Legend was the last time Yokoi fought, and that brings us here to Pride 23. During the in-ring announcements, Jerrel has crossed the ring and is having a stare-down with Yokoi for unknown reasons. He could have just saved this for the actual stare-down. But when the real stare-down does happen, Jerrel couldn't stand any further away from Yokoi. Hilariously, Boss quips, "Whoa, this is gonna be fireworks!" Not much more to tell you about this. Let's get into the match. Round 1, the bell rings and Jerrel goes for a punch and immediately gets taken down by Yokoi. Yokoi's feet are disgusting. What the fuck was he doing backstage? Listen, here at Pride Resurrection, we care a lot about foot condition, and this is totally unacceptable. Yokoi moves to freaky mount to deliver some knees, and the crowd seems to like it.
Gonna start absorbing knees like that one and that one.
Yokoi is in half guard and he tries for a Kimura. Then Yokoi loudly complains to the ref about something. I'm not sure. I think Jerrel was grabbing his ass. Kinky. Then the ref seems to jerk off Yokoi really briefly, and this allows Jerrel to nearly sweep Yokoi. Very, very strange sequence.
Oh, reverse figure four.
Well, he's going for the Kimura now.
Oh, that's the, of course, yeah. That's why I came with reverse figure four, and he's going to get it. If he underhooks now with his left leg, his other leg, he could finish it. What is this?
Now he's got the arm to the side, and Venetiaan trying to pull out.
Yokoi makes a slow past the mount, postures up, and rains down some punches. Then again, but it's what I would call lukewarm ground and pound. Jerrel tries to roll, and Yokoi falls to half guard. Yokoi gets back on mount, postures up again, and punches away, and just keeps going, although he's not connecting all that much, and eventually he tires out. 5 minutes are down in round 1. Yokoi was in side control for a moment, now he's back in mount, but Jerrel bucks him off and gets him in half guard. Yokoi has been all over the place, mount, side control, and freaky mount. But truth be told, he's not accomplishing a whole lot. He's dominated the control for sure, and Jerrel has offered nothing, but Yokoi should have finished him by now.
Impact. You can mainly, oh, look at this. I've never seen that. That was sweet.
Yokoi is relentless on top, but he should straighten his punches because these looping shots are not very effective. Quadros correctly points out that he's missing a lot of these punches, even though he's very busy, but he doesn't want to punch himself out. And at the end, 1 minute left, Yokoi looks a bit gassed. The fighters are repositioned. Yokoi throws about 24 more lethargic looping shots, then thinks of an armbar, but just as he's maybe going to go for it, a knee comes from Venetiaan from the bottom, and then the bell rings, ending round 1. Well, that round was all Yokoi. Jerrel didn't get much off at all, although he looks no worse for wear. And Boss notes that while Yokoi is sitting, Jerrel is standing. Time for round 2, the bell rings, and the men circle before Jerrel foolishly decides to throw a kick, which Yokoi grabs and takes him down. That was very stupid. Quadros chastises him for this. Yokoi back in the mount. He postures up and starts targeting the left arm for an armbar, then is on side control setting up a Kimura. Yokoi then transitions to an armbar, but loses it. Jerrel is free, kicks Yokoi on the way up, but he is taken down immediately. So close. Yokoi is on top in half guard. He moves the side control. 2 minutes left. Yokoi is back on mount, then goes for the right arm. He eventually falls back. Jerrel tries to hold on, and Yokoi breaks the grip, and Jerrel taps out.
Even if he goes now, he can pull it out. He's already pulling it out now. It's very tight, but it's slippery. From the mount, punch. Oh, yeah, he has it. He's got it.
He's got it.
It's going to be over. It's going to.
Man, that was a one-sided affair. Jerrel Venetiaan had done so well against that Matsui at the Shockwave show a few months back, but he was in over his head from the get-go against that man there, Hirotaka Yokoi.
Hirotaka Yokoi victor via armbar at 2 minutes, 29 seconds of the second round. He gets a hug from Shiyoshi Kosaka, then gets hoisted up like he's Rudy Rudiger from that famous college football team. You know the one, the Buckeyes? Yokoi gets his trophy, his check, and it's time for the next fight. Well, it wasn't boring, I'll give it that. Yokoi looked okay. I think maybe he could have finished it earlier if he tried a little bit harder, but maybe he's not that good. I don't know. I just can't shake the feeling that this was a Yakuza setup bout. So I give this fight a 6 out of 10. So what would become of our two super duper troopers here? Hirotaka Yokoi won't be back for over a year. He returns at Pride. Total Elimination 2004 in April of 2004. There he takes on Big Nog Minotauro. Ouch. He'll only have one fight between these two appearances, and that would come at a regional hook and shoot event in 2003. As for Jerrel Venetiaan, this was it for his Pride appearances. He would only fight one more MMA fight. In March of 2003, he would KO Jupe Castile at Too Hot to Handle 6 in Amsterdam. Then he would move to strictly kickboxing bouts, where he would go 7-4 from 2003 to 2004. But from 2005 until his final kickboxing bout in 2008, he would go 0-4. And that's all I would like to tell you about Jerrel Venetiaan. Happy trails, Jerrel, wherever you are.
Oh, I just made a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds.
Next up, it's Quadros with the monster, Kevin Randleman. Quadros has about a 3-inch size advantage over Randleman, who is listed at 5'10", and that's totally bullshit. Anyway, Quadros asks Randleman what it means to be back in Pride. Randleman says it means a lot because the last time he didn't fight so well, and it was because he was sick and had 3 days to prepare in Japan, but this time he has supplements.
It means a lot to me because right now I feel like I did not fight very well the last time. And I just want to tell everyone that I was a little sick the last time. I lost a lot of weight because I got here with 3 days before the fight. And it's hard for me to get acclimated to the climate and just the country itself. So I didn't bring any food or anything. This time I came prepared. I got a lot of supplements, a lot of metrics. I'm very healthy, no problems, and I'm going to demolish, mango crush my opponent.
Take a guess on what he means by supplements. Horse meat, anyone? Quadros and Boss then run down our next fight, which is Kevin Randleman, who was 31 years old and had a record of 12-5. He takes on newcomer Kenichi Yamamoto from Japan. Yamamoto was 26 years old and his record was 4-4-2. It's the wrestler versus the submission guy, says Quadros. Randleman was last seen at Pride 22, where he had a decision win over a giant pile of shit Michiyoshi Ohara. I say that, but with love. There's a second segment of Randleman's interview that I have to mention. He says he wants to have a middleweight title fight, 205 pounds, against Wanderlei Silva. He also calls Tito Ortiz bitch ass or something like that.
It's every weapon that he has, and I watch him a lot. So yeah, my design is to have a middleweight title shot because I'm not fighting those big guys anymore. I'm a middleweight, and that's where I want to stay. So in order to be there, I got one guy in my mind, and that's Wanderlei Silva. And he's the greatest champion in the middleweight that I've ever seen. Better than Tito Ortiz.
No walkouts or even stare down. We go straight to the start of round 1, so I better pause it here so I can tell you about Kenichi Yamamoto. Yamamoto trained in karate as a child, and in the early 90s, he set out for a career in pro wrestling. Despite growing up a big Akira Maeda fan, he made his pro wrestling debut for rival Nobuhiko Takada's UWFI promotion in 1993. His first match would be against a young Kazushi Sakuraba. After UWFI went belly up in the middle of 1996, he and a bunch of other UWFI wrestlers jumped over to Wrestling Association R promotion, WAR. This included 2 stablemates, Yoji Anjo and Yoshihiro Takayama, the 3 of whom formed the stable the Golden Cups. In 1998, Kenichi finally got a brush of Akira Maeda's idle hands when he joined Maeda's Rings promotion. At Rings, Fighting Integration 3rd in May of 1998, he fought and defeated Chris Hassman via rear naked choke in a match that is likely a work despite it being listed on both men's pro records. Then in late 1999, he tried his hand out at the UFC when UFC came rolling into town in November of 1999 for UFC Ultimate Japan 2. Kenichi defeated loathsome piece of shit Daiju Takase and Kasahisu Fuji to win the middleweight tournament held that night. Sorry, I am not using UFC footage here, so use your imagination. At UFC 29 in December of 2000, Kenichi got a shot at the UFC welterweight title, fighting Pat Miletich and unfortunately losing via guillotine choke in the second round. Kenichi then fought a couple times in a Japanese promotion called Club Fight, but I can't find any video of those. The last time he had fought before his Pride appearance here, he fought Genki Sudo in a Rings event, losing via rear naked choke. And that brings us here to Pride 23. Since there's no pre-fight stuff, let's get right into this with round 1. Randleman dances on his feet, rages in with a left, which Kenichi ducks, grabs the hips, Randleman sprawls, knees, Kenichi pulls guard, Randleman spins like a top above him, trying to lock down a good position, and then finally settles on a high side control, nearly north-south. Randleman pulls the neck, then he gears up for an Americana, but despite trying for the better part of a minute, Kenichi does not give up. In a north-south position, Randleman, much like the Ohara fight, just won't unload some knees despite calls from his corner for them. Quadros thinks that it might be because Randleman blacks out in the ring and doesn't even listen to his corner. Randleman's still on top, working for an Americana again, but he loses it. Randleman jumps into mount. Right at the 5-minute mark, Randleman tries the Americana again, but Kenichi explodes out, almost grabs an ankle, then both are back to standing in a wild sequence.
Where Yamamoto in no trouble here. He's going for the key lock, but it's an easy rollover to escape from this.
He should jump to the other side now. He should jump to... He should jump to the side mount and then finish it.
He doesn't have it, Yamamoto. Whoa! Flips him over. Yamamoto gonna go for a leg. Nope. Whoa! Yes. Nice!
Right after, Randleman goes berserk, clipping Kenichi, who falls to the mat, and for some reason, Randleman jumps right into guard. Bad decision. Quadros calls it a flash KO. Into mount and off to side control goes Randleman. Another Americana attempt, this time on the left arm. Same result though. His application isn't exactly correct, and Kenichi's arm needs to be straight up and down and not off to the side. Under 3 minutes with Randleman doing diligent work from the top. But not much happens leading up to the end of the round except Kenichi gets full guard. And then the bell rings, ending round 1. Pretty quick 10 minutes. Great round for Randleman, but let's not forget, he's fighting a glorified pro wrestler, or shoot-style pro wrestler, if that makes you feel any better. Hey, a wild Yoji Anjo has appeared. Nobody tell him that Akira Maeda is lurking somewhere in the arena, just waiting for that moment when Anjo returns to the locker room. In round 2, Kenichi kicks twice and seems to fall when backing away from an incoming Randleman, who gets on top in side control. Steady work by Randleman, who has Kenichi mostly trapped. Quadros talks about Randleman's intentions for the Pride middleweight title and Wanderlei Silva.
Randleman has got his sights set on the Pride middleweight title. He did speak very respectfully about Wanderlei Silva, who is currently the champion in the Pride middleweight division. But Randleman made some comparisons. Wanderlei a while back had a victory against another wrestler in Brazil against Mike Van Arsdale. And Randleman bluntly said, I'm better than Van Arsdale. I rise to the occasion. He can't beat me because I'm the monster. I'll beat Wanderlei. I'll knock him out.
Randleman absently attempts the Americana several times, but always gives up on it to punch Kenichi. Randleman moves to north-south and begins the knee, finally with 1 minute left in round 2. Kenichi then pulls guard. Kenichi's nose is bleeding, and the bell rings, ending round 2. During a round break, Randleman gives a salute to Kenichi, who blows a kiss back. Ah, they love each other. Time for round 3. The bell rings. Kenichi calls for Randleman to come forward, and an awkward tie-up occurs with Kenichi being pushed to the mat. Randleman in side control. He knees, then gets his freak on with a freaky mount, but only briefly. Now, at this point, you might be asking, the most dangerous man alive today, what's the difference between north-south and freaky mount? I'll tell you, if a guy's schlong is on the head or face of his opponent, it's freaky. If his hips are far away, it's just north-south. Randleman goes for skyscraper high knees, eventually landing with a double knee, then one last punch, and the fight is called.
One more, and the referee may have to stop this one. Double knee. Wow.
This is like a Gabriel Love. Beautiful.
Wow.
And look at him. He looks so fresh. This is a new Kevin Randleman, ladies and gentlemen. This guy, look at him.
Kevin Randleman, victor via TKO after 1 minute and 16 seconds of the third round. Randleman does some super high jumps, poses with the Beef Bros, Mark Coleman and Gary Goodridge. Great picture. Then Kenichi gets his arm raised by his nerd cornerman. And then we're off to the next fight. Much better fight for Randleman in this match than his against O'Hara. But again, Kenichi is a former shoot-style pro wrestler, which I would rank as low tier in terms of training for real fighting. But still, I enjoyed this match. I give it a 7 out of 10. So what would become of our two juicy horse meat connoisseurs here? Randleman will be back in quick fashion again, returning at the very next Pride 24, to take on Murilo Ninja Hua, who in fact is going to be our next fight on this Pride card here. As for Kenichi, he'll return at Pride 25 in March of 2003 to fight a returning Alexander Otska. Woo! See ya boys then. Next up, it's Ricardo Arona, 24 years old with a record of 7-1, taking on Murilo Ninja Hua, 22 years old with a record of 8-1-1. Quadros is in the back with Ninja Hua and his truly awful tattoo. It's totally shit, but Quadros slyly takes the piss out of Ninja here, claiming that the tattoo shows Ninja has a serious commitment to fighting.
Now this is a nasty tattoo. That shows that this man here, Murilo Ninja Hua, has a serious commitment to fighting.
Also, Quadros is the biggest honky this side of, I don't know, Drew Carey?
Ninja, boa noite.
Quadros asks about Ninja's opponent. Ricardo Arona, and asks if there was any rivalry between them. Hua gives his answer.
Não, só que andou falando muito besteira na revista, não somente de mim, como é um atleta que não respeita as outras escolas, e eu tô vindo aqui para arrebentar ele mesmo.
We then break live to Ricardo Arona mid-rant as he tries to articulate something.
The last fight of Brazilian top team and Schilt box, all the people can saw what's happened. The most important is forget about and concentration only in that fight, because the past don't can move. Nothing is gonna happen in the Sunday, you know. No matter what's happened, the most important is concentration and do the best.
Later, Quadros stirs the pot, saying Ninja had said Arona doesn't know respect. This further infuriates Arona, which I fully endorse. I want to see blood, baby. Blood.
Gonna teach me respect?
Respect.
Well, respect? He don't know what's respect. Anyone in your team know what's respect. We know what's respect. Respect the people, respect the philosophy, respect the fight, the history of fight. You know that. He don't know that.
Get Arona all worked up, Quadros. Yeah, that's it. Straight to the ring we go. This is a revenge match for Arona, who seeks to avenge the loss of Brazilian top team member Mario Sperry, whom Ninja defeated in an exciting fight at Pride 20. Interesting to note, these men share a common opponent in Pride, Dan Henderson. Arona defeated Henderson via decision at Pride 20, and Hua lost the decision to Henderson at Pride 17. So by that metric, Arona should win this bout. No spoilers though. Great stare down between the two men, and this one looks like it's going to be an explosive match. God, I hope so.
There are so many things going on in this fight. Both men are from different cities, big cities in Brazil. Arona on the right from Rio. Ninja on the left. Look at this stare down, boss.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, yeah. This is a rivalry, folks. There's been a lot of talk in the press by both guys, a lot of talk of teaching another guy respect.
Let's do it. Round one. Ninja flies in for a leaping knee that misses. Arona catches him over his head, puts him down rather softly, then falls down in a side control. But not for long as Ninja powers out and up. They clinch with Arona holding the neck. Then he trips Hua down, and Lord be with him as he manages to fall on top. Hua kicks Arona away and keeps him upright with his kicking legs, and Arona struggles to pass the side control before he finally gets it. Well, this seems familiar for an Arona match. He's on top, and he holds. Hua gets him into half guard, then Arona throws a couple big looping bombs. Hua makes a move to escape. Arona tries to adjust, but Hua is loose, spinning, and the men are on their feet. Hua clips Arona with a punch. Arona falls. Hua is taking his back now, then whoop! He slips off and Arona takes his back, but against the ropes, Hua manages to turn. Quadros brings up Hua's silly tattoo, as if that proves anything.
Like I said before, in the pre-fight analysis, he's got that tattoo on his arm. This guy has got a serious commitment to fighting.
Quadros. It's a bad tattoo of a King of Fighters character. It looks like it was drawn by a child. It doesn't prove anything. The ref separates the fighters from the clinch. Arona slaps him with a kick. The men are clinched with a lull in the action. Then Hua knees the body and tries to go up top. Then they push into the corner. Quadros notes that Arona seems to be gassed already. The ref separates them. Hua kicks and whoa! The sound of that was like a movie sound effect. Arona then kicks him back and the men exchange a couple punches. Arona grabs him and takes him down. While Quadros and Boss talk about how this has been an extremely clean fight, despite the bad blood, Arona tries to go buck wild on Hua, and I laughed a little during this flailing. But then it gets a bit serious as Arona masterfully takes Hua's back and pulls him down, but Hua rolls to his knees. Arona tries to control him, but whoop! Hua has rolled and is in guard. Nice sequence. The crowd likes it.
Each other, but they fight clean.
They fight within the rules, right. And the good thing is that...
Look at this.
Bad position for Ninja.
No, but he's scared.
And Arona has got both the leg hooks in and is going to go for that rear naked choke. Ninja turns and gets on top. Unreal.
You know what?
5 minutes are down and Hua on top chips away at Arona. During this, Quadros talks about the differences between fighting in Japan and the USA at the time. I would like to include the entirety of this conversation with him and Boss, but I would be risking a copyright block, so here's just a snippet.
You know, they say that there are differences between fighting here in Japan and fighting in the United States, and that's true, but the differences are very subtle. There are more similarities than there are differences. For instance, here in the Pride Fighting Championships, we allow kneeing and kicking to the head on the ground, whereas in the United States, they allow ungloved elbows to the head, which can almost guarantee a cut. So those are pretty much the only two differences between the two fighting rules here in Japan.
Also, as the ref is separating the fighters, Quadros says a knee or soccer kick to the head has never seriously injured an opponent. But guys have expired from punches in boxing.
Now, the good thing is about the knee or the soccer kick, there's never been anybody seriously injured with a knee to the head or a soccer kick. But there have been people in boxing, believe me, that have expired from punches.
Oof. And Arona just got a yellow card from the ref. Back to standing and straight into a clinch. Hua tries hard for a takedown. Another ref separation, and Arona fixes his fucking shorts! Mesker! And then he gets kicked in the face. There's an exchange of punches. Arona grabs Hua and takes him down. We're down to 1 minute now, and the men jostle on the ground. With about 5 seconds left, Arona springs a surprise leg lock, but the bell rings, ending round 1. This match is okay. I'm not an Arona fan though. His fights usually devolve into lay and pray hug fest because his cardio is so shit due to all his muscles. And this one has seen a lot of that so far. Nothing really happens in the round break, so let's go into round 2. The bell rings. Arona gets off first with a punch while his chin is straight up. Then a kick, then a clinch, then a big takedown. Quadros spills the beans on Ninja Hua's musical taste.
Interestingly, Ninja says about his personality, you know how he's always smiling? He says, I am very happy, and that he likes to listen to romantic music like Lionel Richie, Elton John, and Phil Collins.
I guess you could say that Ninja is just a gay old guy who likes Elton John. Arona fires a knee and Hua is going to cradle him like a sweet baby. Hua is then able to escape out the back and he is back up, but Arona hangs onto his neck, then pulls guard for a choke. The guillotine didn't work and the ref stands him up to move them to the center. Also, Boss tells us his secret to the guillotine.
I even fake it. If somebody got like a guillotine around my neck, I will make the sound so that they will pull harder and harder and harder and let them drain their energy.
I like that
while
sound.
I don't feel it.
Do that sound again.
1 minute left in round 2 and Hua working from guard, and this is very similar to when Ninja was on top in the first round. Arona pushes Hua away into his feet. Hua thinks of a stomp. Arona is content to stay on the mat because he's fucking gas, and while the ref tries to stand him up, the bell rings. Not a very good look. Well, through 2 rounds, I would say Arona has tried a couple submissions, but he also has a yellow card. Hua has been on top more and he has slightly better striking, so it's pretty close. We're going to head to the 3rd round to see how this one ends. The bell rings. Arona kicks the legs, then whoa, roundhouse, and Hua rushes to clinch. Kneeing in the corner. The ref separates them, and on the restart, Hua punches. Arona dives for the hips, gets the takedown, and he's in guard. Upside down heel kicks from Hua. Who the hell does he think he is, Hoist Gracie? After a minute of Arona on top, Hua gets his feet on the hips and pushes Arona away. Tries to stand, gets pelted by a kick. He gets up though, clinch against the ropes. Hua goes for a low takedown and it kind of works, but Arona gets back up. Then Hua hangs on, stumbles. Now Arona has him and gets a big takedown. Arona throws an illegal elbow. Ref don't care. There's 1 minute left now in our fight. Not sure if the referee is going to intervene here though. Just as Arona looks to tee off, snap cut to Mario Sperry, an unknown horrendous Brazilian man screaming, "Good job, director!" Then the bell rings, ending the round and our fight. Arona stands, raises his hands. It was close. How will the judges score this one? Let's find out.
Judge Arona. Judge Kobayashi. Arona.
And he did it. He pulled it off.
Ricardo Arona has won a unanimous decision.
It's Arona via unanimous decision. Handshakes all around. Maybe the boys of Brazil can show some respect now. Brazilian top team celebrates and it's off to the next fight. Well, this match was good even though Arona was in it. It felt both long and short at the same time, if that makes any sense. I give this one a 7 out of 10. So, what would become of our 2 respectful hitters here? Ninja Hua is back first at the very next Pride 24, where he takes on Kevin Randleman. Interesting matchup, to say the least. As for Arona, he won't be back in action in Pride for nearly 2 years after this fight. He returns at Pride Critical Countdown 2004 in June of 2004. He won't fight at all during that long lull off. Why? Not sure. At Critical Countdown 2004, he takes on Quentin Rampage Jackson in a very famous fight. We'll see you boys then. It's on to the next bout. Heath Herring, 24 years old with a record of 20-7, taking on Fedor Emelianenko, 26 years old with a record of 11-1. Back for more Quadros crackerness. TCH, he says, Texas Crazy Horse.
TCH, Texas Crazy Horse.
Quadros wants to know what the name means to Heath Herring. Herring says it was given to him by the Japanese fans, and I didn't know that. And of course, it's Herring, so he has some stupid shit going on with his fucking hair. It's an elimination fight for the heavyweight title, says Quadros. The match is broken down by both him and Boss says Herring has trained real hard on his stamina after his last fight. We head straight to the ring for this one as well, and beautiful opening shot of the ring. It looks amazing.
Look at this crowd. Look at this ring.
182 horse, Heath Herring.
182センチ、105キロ。
Emelianenko Fedor. Boss, you know a lot of people in the States by the name of...
We last saw Herring beat up Yuri Kochkin at Pride 22, and Fedor last appeared at Pride 21, earning a decision win against Semmy Schilt. Interesting to note, out of Herring's 20 career victories, 18 have been stoppages, either submissions or TKOs, and 5 of his 7 losses are due to decision. That's quite a feat. Fedor, meanwhile, has 4 decision victories out of 11, and this is only Fedor's second appearance in Pride. We've seen Herring 9 times prior. Yuji Shimada gives the instructions in English, and he clearly says, "This is Pride rule. First round, 10 minutes.
That's when you know you're not in Kansas anymore.
Fedor also.
Time for the fight, so let's do it. Round 1, the bell rings. Herring charges right at Fedor and tries some type of stomp push kick. He gets grabbed and taken down. Terrible choice. Even Boss says it wasn't a super smart move.
Whoa!
And he goes into a takedown.
That is not a very super smart move.
Fedor floats over the top of Herring and eventually winds up on his back, but Herring rolls for a knee bar and Fedor settles down in half guard. Fedor works punches, but they are mostly deflected. Then Fedor is pushed to his feet. He tries to time his fall to side control, and once he does get there, he knees Herring's noggin. Fedor tees off. "That was a good blow there," says Boss.
Serving his energy, he knows and respects this guy.
That was a good blow there on left.
Fedor smites Herring and must have knocked him silly, because Herring doesn't even notice Fedor passing the side control. Herring repositions and gets Fedor into guard, but no shits are given by Fedor as he cuts through Herring's defenses like a young O.J. Simpson cutting through neck bone. That was an edgelord joke. I'm sorry. Herring turtled up, gets beamed, then rolls for guard, but nah, Fedor just keeps slicing through him. On his back, Fedor fires away. Herring rolls again, gets Fedor off him, but decides to roll again, and Fedor has his back again and punches him. I think Herring's hairstyle has incited the violence in the famously stoic Orthodox Christian Fedor. Boss notes that there is blood, and Herring rolls again as Fedor just misses with an atomic right.
Something like that.
But Fedor just cracked him 2 times. Is Herring hurt here?
It looked like
he hurt him with that left hook, Boss.
And Herring takes refuge through the ropes. Herring gets up and Fedor gives him a look of complete murder. Herring has a cut under his left eye, and Yuji Shimada issues a yellow card because he too doesn't like Herring's hairstyle. That seems a little cheap, to be honest. Anyway, Herring has his cut checked. "We have 6 doctors here at ringside," says Quadros.
We have 6 doctors here at ringside.
Great analysis, Quadros. Thanks. Herring is okay to go and the fight resumes. Herring kicks, then again as Fedor counters. Herring tries it again. Fedor grabs him and slips behind Herring and delivers a belly-to-side slam, the crowd loving it.
Fedor trying to counter, and Fedor jumping in and suplexing.
More hard hitting from Fedor, and Herring manages to grab hold of his body to pull him down. Herring with multiple cuts on his face now. Herring tries to use his long legs to get some space, but Fedor uses that to kaplow him. Herring is still alive though, and Fedor must be stunned by this as he allows Herring to roll away. 5 minutes down, Fedor has slowed a bit. Quadros forecasts to stand up soon, but just as I typed that, Fedor blasts Herring. Quadros talks about Fedor's T-Rex arms versus Herring's long gorilla arms.
You know what it is? The short, compact fighters can get more velocity because they don't have the long limbs.
Yes.
Whereas a guy like Herring, he can't, because he's in close like this, he can't deliver any velocity because his arms are too long.
After being blasted again, Herring rolls again. Fedor pounds on him. Herring rolls again and Fedor takes mount, but Herring rolls and escapes out to back, but Fedor is right on top of him with a knee and he's basically back in mount. Fedor with full control. Every time Herring gets some space or a position change, Fedor locks him down. Fedor tries for a rear naked choke on Herring's back, but bad spot as he could easily be slipped off. But then he lets go and Herring stopped trying to move. 1 minute left, and while trying another rear naked choke, Fedor loses his grip on Herring and Herring is able to turn into him. It's a miracle! He's on top.
To the guy from the guard.
Oh, look at this. Oh, now.
Okay, now,
Yes.
now finally we see Heath on top. Wow!
And he better start mauling now.
He punches. Fedor tries to escape. North-south from Herring. He knees. Then it's freaky mount. Herring then hammers Fedor from the side, but unfortunately all that didn't work as the bell rings, ending round 1. Quadros is saying the doctors are really going to look close at Herring now, and the next thing you hear is the bell ringing, and the fight is being stopped.
And the doctors are really going to look close at Heath Herring right now. But Heath flipped things around.
Oh, no! They stopped the fight. The cuts are too big.
I got one word for this fight. I got one word only, and that is impressive. Emelianenko Fedor has beat the big man.
Fedor Emelianenko, winner via TKO due to doctor stoppage after the first round. Herring looks deflated, and Fedor, while looking fresh, does have some marks on his face as well. Herring departs, and that's it for this one. Well, this was a great showing from Fedor. Herring made a bad decision. Maybe he should have kept some distance in the beginning or try punching first. But what can you say? This is Fedor during his rise to his prime. Could Herring have been able to do anything that was successful? Not sure. Anyway, it was an okay fight. I give it a 6 out of 10. So what would become of our two Ramen Rusky Rumblers here? Fedor returns next at Pride 25 in March of 2003 to take on the heavyweight champion Minotauro Nogueira. As for Herring, he's out until Pride 26 when he returns to take on another rising star in Pride, Mirko Cro Cop. See you boys then!
My brother is wearing the other one.
On to the next fight, which sees Semmy Schilt, 29 years old with a record of 22-11-1, taking on reigning Pride heavyweight champion Antônio Rodrigo Nogueira, who is 26 years old with a record of 17-1-1. Quadros is in the back interviewing Minotauro Nogueira. Quadros asks him if Semmy realistically has a chance to beat him.
Semmy realistically has a chance to beat you?
Yeah, of course. All those heavyweight fighters from Pride, they very good. Everyone got their special technique.
Geesh, Quadros, that's a little rough, don't you think? Quadros also asks him if it's harder to stay in shape being number one.
Is it hard now that you're number one to keep getting in shape?
Yeah, it's more difficult to keep in shape, to keep number one, them get there.
This is going to be a non-title fight, kind of like pro wrestling when a contender faces a champion, but not for the title. Boss and Quadros break it down. Boss says guys like Semmy with long arms and legs are susceptible to submissions, and that's not good seeing as he's taking on one of the best in the game. The shrunken ring announcer has arrived and we get our first walkout of the night, Minotauro, and at first glance you might think the big screen they have is not that big. Then Minotauro appears and wow, the screen is huge in terms of height. And just as I type that, Quadros talks about it too. Quadros hypes that there's 30 different cameras used by Pride Fighting Championships.
They speed it up a little bit because otherwise Semmy's going to be in trouble.
You know, look at the size of that video screen. That thing is about as high as a skyscraper. Here at the Pride Fighting Championships, we have 30 cameras capturing this event.
It sucks that this is the only entrance we've seen so far, because it's really awesome. The music, the lights, everything. Alas, the American DVD rips generally suck. But as we also saw with the previous review, the Japanese DVDs aren't that much better. Big cheers for Minotauro when the fighters are introduced.
Look at this. Wow, the audience.
And there he gets the... But a lot of people thought that he beat Ernesto Hoost. The Pride Heavyweight Champion in this non-title fight.
Nothing to write home about on the stare down, so let's get into the fight. Round 1, the bell rings, the men meet, Nogueira shoots, misses. Semmy kicks, Nog grabs Semmy, who does a good job of staying up against the ropes. Quadros says Semmy sprawling, never thought he would say those two words. Moral victory for Semmy as well, he completely defends Nogueira's push for a takedown. It's amazing. Semmy's confidence is high, thinking that there's no way Nogueira can push him down. So what does Nogueira do? He pulls instead, and Semmy is down in half guard. Nogueira looks to position. Semmy punches him, then stands. The ref calls for Nog to stand up too. Schilt kicks at Nogueira, who grabs his foot and tries hard for a takedown, but Schilt defends again, lands in mount, tries to punch, then is up. He kicks Nogueira, and we're back to standing. Schilt kicks at Nogueira again, who responds with punches, then dives for the hips and powers Schilt down, getting a good cheer from the crowd.
Fedor. This is a non-title fight, but it would be embarrassing to say the least. There it is, double leg takedown.
Semmy decides to kick Nogueira away, who eventually falls back down into half guard. Nogueira passes the side control, but the ref decides to stop and move them before it goes any further. After about a minute, Nogueira is somehow trapped in half guard, but he passes the mount. Some good punches from Nogueira at the 5-minute mark. Semmy tries his best to push Nogueira off, but he just can't finish it, and immediately after, Nogueira is going for an armbar, then a triangle, but Semmy goes to stand, maybe slam Nogueira, then he is in a deep triangle, and the next thing you know, Semmy is tapping.
Bring the elbow to the other side and then pull the head. That's what Nogueira has to do. He's got to pull the head, both hands, and bridge now. No, he's first going to bring the elbow to the other side. Now he's tapping, it's over.
He submitted the big guy from Holland with a triangle choke. Oh yeah, 6 minutes, 36 seconds by triangle chokeout, Nogueira.
Antonio Minotauro Nogueira, winner after 6 minutes and 36 seconds of the first round via triangle choke. Nogueira celebrates, gets lifted high by Mario Sperry and Ricardo Arona, but Nogueira better not celebrate for long, as he better focus his sights on Fedor. Semmy heads to the back, then Nogueira gets on the mic, speaks Portuguese, translated into Japanese. No idea, folks. Sorry, Boss and Quadros are no help.
Use your mic, Antônio.
Vou falar em português. Eu gostaria de dizer que eu, Antônio Rodrigo Nogueira, campeão, heavyweight do Pride.
And then it's time for the next fight. Well, Semmy did better than I expected, and surely most of the audience as well. He just doesn't seem to have that pop or speed needed to really capitalize on his size. This is just a warm-up match for Nogueira. Good performance from him, but I only give this match a 6 out of 10. So what would become of our two tangling dick tuggers here? Minotauro will return first in December at Pride 24. Cold Fury 3 in another non-title match, but an important match to set the record straight. He takes on Dan Henderson, a man who defeated him via split decision in the semifinals of the Ring's King of Kings 1999 tournament. Dan would go on to win the whole shebang that year, and he is Minotauro Nogueira's only loss. Never mind that this rematch will see about 2 weight classes between the men. As for Schilt, he'll return in April 2004, about a year and a half off from this event. At Pride, Total Elimination 2004, he takes on Gan McGee. Between now and then, Schilt will only fight once at the Inoki Bumbaye 2003 event in December of 2003, where he takes on Josh Barnett. We'll see you boys then! On to the 6th bout of the eve, which sees reigning Pride middleweight champion Wanderlei Silva defending his title against newcomer to Pride, Hiromitsu Kanehara. Wanderlei was last seen at Pride Shockwave, where he sent karate champ Tatsuya Iwasaki to an early retirement. Wanderlei, 26 years old. His record was 23-1 and won no contest coming into this bout. And Kanehara, from Japan, was 32 years old, and his record was listed at 15-9-1. Pre-fight, Wanderlei is with Quadros, who says that Silva is mellower now that he is married. Silva doesn't really confirm that this is true.
It seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, you seem to be a little mellower now that you're married.
Não, com relação agora que eu consegui ser profissional mesmo, tô só treinando, eu fico treinando o dia inteiro. Eu corro, nado, faço musculação, faço jiu-jitsu, muay thai, wrestling. Então eu realmente estou me tornando cada vez mais um lutador completo, né? E eu acho que eu não atingi ainda o meu potencial total. Eu acho que daqui a alguns anos que eu vou estar no auge da carreira.
Quadros and Boss break this one down, and Boss talks up Kanehara over his history and rings. And don't worry, I'll cover that soon enough. Straight to the ring for this one as well. No walkouts. And what the fuck is Kanehara wearing? Is that a burlap sack? Well, before the fight continues, I better tell you about this fucking dork. Born in Aichi, Japan, Kanehara got his start in pro wrestling, working for Nobuhiko Takada in his UWFI promotion in 1991. In a series that will make you scratch your head, Kanehara wrestled Masakazu Maeda 6 straight times. Why? He would continue to wrestle for UWFI through 1996, mixing in some New Japan Pro Wrestling and war matches. In 1997, he jumped over to Kingdom, a new promotion that was formed after the UWFI went belly up. In 1997, Kingdom held a one-night, 1 million yen tournament where Kanehara would make it all the way to the finals. But in a turn of events that I find absolutely hilarious, Kanehara lost to bag of shit Yuhi Sano. That's right, Yuhi Sano won that prestigious tournament, but sadly for him, that advertised 1 million yen was just a work, and Yuhi's dreams of retiring to the seaside of New Zealand were quickly dashed. Curiously, Nobuhiko Takada was spotted leaving the arena that night with a giant bag that had a yen symbol on it. But maybe that was just a coincidence. In early 1998, Kingdom itself went belly up, likely due to the dwindling money shoot-style wrestling was producing, caused by the sudden rise of real fighting, most notably Pride Fighting Championships, which despite a shaky start would soon begin to cement itself as the premier MMA promotion in Japan. Likewise, the Fighting Network Rings organization, birthed from the same vile orifice as the UWFI was, but had endured through the 90s under better leadership of young boy diddler Akira Maeda, was itself facing a premature death unless they could make the ultimate decision, become a real fighting promotion themselves. and that's what they did. In 1998, Fighting Network rings began to transition into featuring more and more real shoot fighting, before becoming a full shoot promotion in early 1999 after the retirement of Akira Maeda. Kanehara had joined rings in 1998 and had his first match against Lee Hastel. This match, unfortunately, was likely one of the works and not a shoot, although it's listed on both men's pro record. Similarly, a lot of Kanehara's matches in 1998 were probably works, but without checking them all, I can only assume. Notable bouts for Kanehara from rings include a decision loss against Ricardo Moraes at rings, final capture in February of 1999. A submission loss to Kiyoshi Tamura at rings, rise first in March of 1999. A decision victory against Jeremy Horn at the opening rounds of the King of Kings 1999 tournament, before a decision loss to Dan Henderson that very same night. And then Kanehara had a decision loss to Mario Sperry at the one-off Coliseum 2000 event in May of 2000. Kanehara had a great run in the 2000 King of Kings tournament, making it all the way to the semifinals, with wins over Dave Manet and two other little-known fighters. But in the semifinals, held in February of 2001, he ran into a fast-rising Antônio Rodrigo Nogueira, who submitted him with a rear naked choke in the first round. Minotauro would go on to win the whole tournament later that night. Rings wouldn't be long for this world after the King of King 2000 tournament, closing up shop in early 2002. But Kanehara had 5 more fights for the promotion before it did, with 3 of those being notable. A submission loss to Ricardo Arona at Rings World Title Series 2 in June of 2001. A decision loss to Matt Hughes at Rings 10th anniversary in August of 2001. And then a draw against Mikhail Alukin at the final Rings Japan event. Rings World Title Grand Final in February of 2002, the last time Kanehara had fought, and that brings us here to Pride 23. In the ring, Kay Grant delivers the introductions. We see Kanehara has Shuyoshi Kosaka in his corner, and he gets a good ovation. But so does Wanderlei.
91.4 キロ Kanehara Hiromitsu.
Been in with some serious competition in his career, so he's no stranger to pressure.
182センチ 92.5 キロ プライドミドル級チャンピオンバンダライシルバ
But Wanderlei Silva is all about pressure.
Good stare down, and Quadros compares it to the stare down Wanderlei had with Dan Henderson.
Can dictate where the fight is fought. Kanehara can stand up. He can bang a little bit. Now this is the trademark of Wanderlei Silva.
Oh, yes.
Does he look scarier or less scary than he did with Krokop or with Dan Henderson?
It's always the same. He's blank.
Not much more to talk about here, so let's do it. Round 1, the bell rings. Kanehara foolishly plows forward as Wanderlei nicely targets his head, but Kanehara seems okay. He squares up and delivers a 1-2, then slips in an overhand left, and kaplow! Wanderlei kicks him right in the face as Kanehara rights himself.
This is the championship bout. Wanderlei versus Kanehara, and it's on, folks. Kanehara going out slugging and getting cracked. Wanderlei landing the left hook and a right hand. Oh!
Kanehara is on the mat. Wanderlei gets down into his guard. Kanehara looks to lock up Wanderlei's left arm, then forgets about it. Wanderlei backs out a guard and stands, and gives enough room for Kanehara to stand himself. The men trade. Wanderlei bodylocks Kanehara and then takes him down, falling into half guard. Quadros talks about the rules. The rules? What are the rules and how they pertain to the USA?
When the Pride adopted the knees and the kicks to the head, he really liked that rule because if a guy shot in on him, he could knee him in the head. In the 2 states that are sanctioned in the United States, Nevada and New Jersey, they have different rules than we have here in Pride, but the rules are really subtly different. Here in Pride, we allow knees and kicks on the ground, whereas the rules there allow elbows. So that's really a very small difference. It's almost identical.
Kanehara pushes Wanderlei away. Wanderlei kicks at his legs. Then the ref calls for a break to let Kanehara stand. Silva starts with a jab. Kanehara's counter isn't too bad, and he has a crisp right straight. The men mix it up, and Kanehara gets whacked after a clinch, and he's down. Silva gets on top and pounds him.
Silva coming in with a good jab. Silva cracking away into the tight clinch. Kanehara. Oh, big left hook by Silva.
Wanderlei gets to his feet quickly and calls for Kanehara to stand. As soon as he does, Silva rushes in, they trade, and Kanehara falls forward, tries to secure an ankle, almost gets his head kicked off, and Silva is calling for him to stand up again. Kanehara is not ready to stand though. When he does, Wanderlei pegs him with a flurry and Kanehara is down in the ropes. Silva then pounds on him from guard, and this is not looking good. Silva then stands and kicks Kanehara in the face, then sneaks in for a stomp, and don't blink or you'll miss it, but behind Silva's left, a towel flies into the ring, and the fight is called.
Yeah, this is Wanderlei's trademark, to get the guy sideways on. Oh, soccer kick! Wanderlei going for the stomp. There's the stomp. And Kanehara, is he going?
Trying for a leg lock, but they throw it. Yoshida threw in the towel, and I think it's a wise decision.
Wanderlei Silva, winner via TKO due to corner stoppage at 3 minutes, 40 seconds of the first round. Wanderlei celebrates, Kanehara gets attended to. Silva shouts about some puta. Not sure what that's all about. Maybe he's talking about Tito Ortiz.
I'll tell you what though, now he's talking some.
Then Silva and Kanehara hug. Quadros talks about Silva having fought a lot of Japanese men and he needs to take on a Brazilian, maybe one from Brazilian top team. And then Silva is awarded his belt and trophy by Naoto Morishita, president of Dream Stage Entertainment, which runs Pride. Overall, I give this fight an 8 out of 10. It was very exciting. I thought Kanehara showed a ton of courage, and he wasn't shy with trying to take the fight to Silva. He did much better than the other former ring star, Kiyoshi Tamura. Silva looked like a killer, yeah, but I really thought Kanehara showed a lot of guts. I thoroughly enjoyed this fight. Must see. So, what would become of our two cocked-up Kanehara kickers here? Wanderlei next returns to Pride at Pride! Total Elimination 2003. In August of 2003, a big 9-month layoff. There he takes on Kazushi Sakuraba for a third time in the Pride Middleweight Grand Prix. As for Kanehara, we won't see him return until Pride Bushido 3 in May of 2004, and he won't have any fights until then. Well, we'll see you boys later! On to the next fight, which sees Don Frye 1 day into his 37th year with a record of 15-1, taking on Olympic gold medalist Hidehiko Yoshida, 33 years old, and this was his first official MMA bout. Boss Rutan is backstage interviewing the all-powerful mustache himself, Don Frye. Boss asks, what does he think of Yoshida?
You're going to face Hidehiko Yoshida, which is a former judo champion, an Olympic gold medalist. What do you think about it?
I think it's great. I think it's going to be exciting. You know, it's not often you get to fight an Olympic gold medalist. And, you know, I understand he requested me, so I hope to give him the match that he wants.
Then Don talks about how he was intent on retiring after the Takayama fight, but his family wanted him out of the house. I have another reason why he came back, but I'll reveal that a little bit later. Later, Don says he is going to break Yoshida's arm, and then Boss and Quadros break down the fight, give their predictions, and they wonder if Don is going to wear a gi to the ring. We get walkouts for both men. It's about time.
第7試合を行います青コーナーよりドン・フライ選手の入場です
Carrying his gi under his shoulder. Oh no.
What is he gonna do? Is he gonna wear it?
Don Frye rises from the stage with his team and gets a huge cheer as he is sporting a gi, sans the pants. Will he wear it in the ring? Boss and Quadros don't think it would be a good idea. Quadros runs down his accomplishments: 2 UFC tournaments, a finalist and a third, losing only to Mark Coleman. Nothing to sneeze at.
But he's also a mixed martial art legend. He's won 2 UFC 8-man tournaments. He was the finalist in a 3rd UFC. He's beaten Ken Shamrock, Gary Goodridge twice, Tank Abbott.
Then it's Yoshida who comes out flanked by Shiyoshi Kosaka. Boss and Quadros joke about Don Frye knocking him around, and they are assuming Don Frye is going to kill him. Also, the red-lit walkway that splits through the crowd is so freaking awesome. Damn, Pride had some amazing stage setups. In the ring, the men are introduced to great fanfare.
185センチ、106.3キロ。吉田秀彦。
They have a mediocre stare down after that, and wow, Steven Quadros does one of the best Don Frye impersonations I have ever heard. Definitely puts mine to shame.
Always saying, I'm old, you know, Steven, I'm old. Cowboy.
Is that a good impersonation of
That's
Don?
perfect. What's up, cowboy? What are you doing? You know, boss, you're one of my favorite fighters.
We also finally learn if Don Frye is really going to wear the gi, and he's not. Well, it's time for the fight. Round 1, the bell rings. Don Frye comes out jabbing. Yoshida shoots, but Don sprawls, though Yoshida is already setting up a trip, and he takes Don down to a huge ovation.
Don Frye, that invented with Mark Coleman, ground and pound. Don Frye coming up boxing. Look at the shot there by Yoshida. Over the trip.
Yoshida works on the over-under gi choke that he used on Royce Gracie, but he doesn't finish it. Don works to get back up, but Yoshida positions to take his back. Don is on his knees, and Yoshida is high on a back mount. Now Yoshida seems to be setting up another gi choke, and Don rolls, but he's trapped in the leg scissors of Yoshida. Yoshida has some strap from the gi around Don's arm and his neck. I'm not sure if Yoshida can finish it here, though. After about 30 seconds, Don suddenly pops his head free, and now he's on top and guard, and he pounds the body. Yuji Shimada, our ref, stops and resets the fighters out of the ropes. After the restart, there isn't a whole lot that happens, as Quadros reminds us this fight is under Pride rules and not some sort of different rule shenanigans. This takes us up to the 5-minute mark. Don postures up, and this, I don't know, to me it looks very suspect, as it seems like a planned moment in the fight. Don is suddenly caught in an armbar. Yoshida goes belly down, then rolls Frye effortlessly, and though Don doesn't tap, the ref leaps in to stop the fight.
He's going to get Ken Shamrock in a heel hook, too, so,
Yeah.
I mean...
He's got to watch out for a guillotine.
He's going for the armbar. Yeah. This... Oh, no. Will Don Frye tap out? He's almost to the point where... Unbelievable.
Hidehiko Yoshida, victor via submission at 5 minutes, 32 seconds of the first round. Quadros calls this a clean victory as compared to the somewhat dubious ref stoppage of Royce Gracie in his match against Yoshida. I had my doubts from the moment Don Frye said he was enjoying retirement and was somehow called back to fight. Yoshida celebrates, Don Frye leaves, still looking like a badass. Yoshida then gets on the mic to salute the crowd, likely also Don Frye, and maybe talks about what's next for him. Quadros and Boss don't offer any help. And after that, we're off to the next fight. We get a second angle of the armbar transition, and my biased eyes see a clear setup, but there could be some doubt there until Yuji Shimada encourages Yoshida to give the armbar more effort so he has a reason to stop it or to make it look better. Something smells fishy, but I'll play the clip for you and you decide. Just keep your eyes on Yuji Shimada, the referee. Well, this match was okay, and I'll remove my very subjective feelings here. Yoshida out-grappled Frye, who seemed on the defensive even when he was briefly on top. Overall, I give this fight a 7 out of 10. With that said, my subjective opinion and rating on this is a 4 out of 10. This was a fucking sham. But that's okay, given that we should all understand Pride was equal parts legitimate fight promotion, spectacle, and Japanese nationalism entertainment. This isn't the first setup they've had, and it won't be the last. If you love Pride like I do, you just kind of have to accept it and move on. And I still love Don Frye. And no, there is no confirmation from anyone that this fight was a fix. I don't even think anyone online has even mentioned the idea of being a fix, so I could be wrong. So, what would become of our two geed up jagoffs here? Despite having retired prior to this fight, I guess Don Frye is now unretired, as he will return not long after this event at Pride 26 in June of 2003, where he has a rematch against the only other man to ever beat him, Mark Coleman. As for Yoshida, he won't be back until Pride Total Elimination 2003 in August of 2003 to take on Kiyoshi Tamura. We'll see you boys then. Up next, Quadros intros the next fight, and something's wrong here. He says the next fight is the main event. It's Sakuraba versus Gil Arsene. Wait, what happened to Takada versus Tamura? Oh my god, it wasn't even included on the American DVD. Well, this is a fucking shame, isn't it, fight fans? I had a whole litany of stuff planned for Takada versus Tamura, but I guess we'll just have to forget about it. So with that, it's the final bout of the evening. Kazushi Sakuraba, 33 years old with a record of 13-5-1 and 1 no contest, takes on Frenchman Gil Arsene, unknown age with an untouched record of 0-0-0. There's a lot to unpack there. In the back, Quadros tells us that the name Sakuraba is known around the world in mixed martial arts, but he broke his orbital bone last time around against Miracle Crow Cop, so he's getting a sacked lunch to fight this time. Unknown Gil Arsene. Even Boss admits they don't know anything about the guy other than he ate a croissant in the morning for breakfast.
Yes, Gil Arsene, the only thing that we know from him is that he probably ate a croissant this morning because that's from France.
Quadros goes out on a limb to predict a submission victory for Sakuraba. This one goes straight to the ring as well, and there he is, Gil Arsene. He looks French, I guess. Meanwhile, Sakuraba has a heavily wrapped right knee, and I wonder how much training he was able to do, as he looks a little softer than usual. I would love to tell you about Gil Arsene, but if he didn't actually appear on screen here, I wouldn't have any evidence that he actually existed. I mean, I literally could not find any evidence he was a real person, other than some random video of a fight of him versus Kenji Arai at some stupid event called Bercy Valley Tudo, which took place in France in March of 2001. Gil won that bout via rear naked choke in the second round. Nothing more to say, so let's do it. Round 1, the bell rings, and I'm already getting a serious Takada versus Kyle Sturgeon vibe here. Quadros tells us that Arsene is the French national BJJ champion, as if that's something special, and he has a whopping 7-0 record as an amateur. We get a sweaty shot of Takada, and it's a shame we won't get to see his fight tonight. There's a punch by Sakuraba. It just sort of deflects off Arsene's giant forehead. Sakuraba suddenly goes raging retard on Arsene with some of the most flamboyant punching we've yet seen in Pride. Whoa, it's amazing. Arsene decides to bull guard. Sakuraba gets down onto Arsene and tries to pound him. Quadros says Arsene trained with Bob Sapp at the K1 dojo prior to this fight, and Boss has a laugh over that.
Gil Arsene had the pleasure of working out with Bob Sapp at the K1 dojo, and
that could have helped him a lot in this fight.
The soft thigh flesh of Arsene shows a giant welt from where Sakuraba kicked him. Quadros later wonders if this is the first time Arsene has ever been kicked. Things that make you go, Sakuraba, clearly bored already, pitter-pats Arsene around the head. Quadros notes that those slaps to the top of the head are in fact illegal.
His stand-up is not his strong point, and at this point, Sakuraba with an illegal slap on top of the head.
They roll in Sakuraba's inside control, then turns the full freaky mount. Sakuraba might have the best freaky mount in the game. Whoa, 5 minutes down already? It's like I was abducted by aliens and have lost chunks of time, kinda like George St. Pierre. Quadros and Boss discuss whether Sakuraba is dragging this one out, and Boss seems a little perturbed that Sakuraba just doesn't get it over with already. 3 minutes left and more toying from Sakuraba. What the fuck is this match? This is embarrassing. Completely embarrassing. It's pathetic. Down now to the last seconds of the round. Nothing happens. End of round 1. Wow, what a fucking garbage first round. But I think I know what's going on here. Hear me out. Pride booked Sakuraba into a gimme match because Sakuraba was still injured. Maybe they doubted if he could win against a real opponent, and they desperately needed Sakuraba to have a big win. Sakuraba perhaps tricked into thinking he was facing a legit opponent who was proclaimed a BJJ champ from France, realized in the ring that Arsene was a sack of shit, and he, Sakuraba, decided to drag this out and sandbag as a fuck you to the Pride management for having so little faith in him. But that's just my theory. Or maybe Sakuraba is in on it and he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. Or maybe Sakuraba is trying to make the crowd hate him because he's done with this fighting bullshit. But I think my first theory is the correct one. Time for round 2. The bell rings. Arsene throws a loopy right, his second punch of the match, then follows out with a left I don't know what punch. Sakuraba sticks him with the right, then goes buck wild with schoolyard slaps. It's absolutely ridiculous. They briefly grapple after another punch, and Arsene pulls guard again. It would be truly horrendous if Arsene was not only a pile of garbage, but a pile of garbage paid to throw the fight, and this pulling guard shit is supposed to be the go-home position. The ref decides to move them out of the corner, and the reposition feels very, very strange. There is an odd tension in the arena, especially from Sakuraba. Quadro says that Pride needs a 185-pound weight division. That division would still be about a year off. It's coming in 2004. 2 minutes left in round 2. Arsene gets cheeky with a punch that seems to infuriate Sakuraba, and the ref should have stopped it right there. I can only assume Yuji Shimada is waiting for a submission to call the fight.
Right now, they both don't. You know, he doesn't do anything. Come on, there we go. He's going to finish it, and he's going to tap now. There's no defense.
Down to 1 minute, Sakuraba floats over Arsene and takes his neck. Sakuraba is stumped on what to do here, so he decides to elbow the body. The bell rings, ending round 2. Well, that was another awful round, and it's not Sakuraba's fault. It's Arsene's fault. Still, Sakuraba could have finished him at will, so he isn't absolved completely from blame. Sakuraba has Minoru Toyonaga in his corner, along with Daijiro Matsui. Toyonaga has been moonlighting as a ref for Pride for about 2 years now. Interesting to see him in Sakuraba's corner. Well, let's get this one over with. Round 3, the bell rings. Arsene comes out with some punching. Sakuraba comes forward and sticks Arsene with a right, and he goes down. Sakuraba mounts his knee on Arsene, then wails on him with his patented Sakuraba chops and punches. Sakuraba fully mounts Arsene, toys with him, then traps his right arm, followed by the left, slaps him like a pimp. Arsene is cut. Wow, really? What, from that slap? Sakuraba finally decides to seriously look for an armbar, and after a moment of struggle, he lays back and Arsene is immediately tapping out, and I mean immediately.
Very slow, too. It's not... Yeah, there we go. No, very nice.
There it is.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. Yeah.
Sakuraba, winner via armbar submission at 2 minutes, 8 seconds of the third round. No time to waste as Quadros already starts plugging the next Pride and the credits begin to roll. They must be pressed for time or something. And that's a wrap on this one. But first, my thoughts on this fight. Wow, what a shit show. Sakuraba, I don't know if he was tender from his injuries, out of shape, or just didn't care. Maybe all three, but instead of doing what he could have done, and the fight in the first round, he dragged it out. I can only assume this was a disgruntled employee sort of thing. It certainly felt like Sakuraba could have did what he did in the third round in the first. Arsene was garbage, and there's two schools of thought on him. He was floated as an opponent based on his BJJ status and his connections to Jerome LeBanner, and maybe all of Pride was fooled, or Pride sought an easy opponent that they knew was an easy victory, but someone who had more of a background than, say, Kyle Sturgeon. Whatever the truth is, it'll probably never be known. I rate this match a 2 out of 10. It was terrible. Before we close out our show, what would become of our two not ready for primetime punchers here? Sakuraba will return next at Pride 25, Body Blow, in March of 2003. There he takes on returning Nino Shembri, who was last seen at Pride The Best Volume 2, winning a split decision against piece of shit Daiju Takase. As for Gil Arsene, this was it for his Pride career, and as far as I can tell, his combat sports career as well. Maybe he did some BJJ stuff after this. I don't know, nor do I care. See you around, you fucking jagoff. And that brings us to the close of Pride 23, Championship Chaos 2. Well, this show was, it was okay. It had a lot of good fighters, but there's just something about this event that showcased the worst side of Pride, that being fights that seemed tailored, set up, even outright fixed. But this is Japanese MMA, which was birthed from pro wrestling. And let's not forget, the Yakuza was deeply involved with Pride at this time. With that said, it wasn't a horrible event. It was memorable, but for the wrong reasons. I give this one a 6 out of 10. The fight of the night would have to be Wanderlei Silva versus Hiromitsu Kanehara. It was the most exciting, and I was totally invested in it, so it's that one. So that does it for this episode, friends and loved ones. For the Colombian good vibe wherever he is, I'm wishing you goodbye.
Is not, I repeat, this is not a test. Do not adjust your audio. Did you really think I would let this fight go through and not be able to find it? Oh, Lord, no, ladies and gentlemen. No. I think better of Pride Resurrection. This is Takeda's final fight. My final chance to tell him fuck you in ring. And there is no way in hell I'm going to miss this. So what did I do? I hacked the internet. The entire internet, ladies and gentlemen. I hacked it. And I bring you now the Takeda fight. That's right. It wasn't on the DVD. The Most Dangerous Man Alive today wasn't able to get it. But guess who did? That's right. The Colombian good vibe. Woo! Oh yeah! So now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to say goodbye to Takeda by giving you play-to-play commentary. So let's get right into this. Now we're getting a shot of Takeyoshi in the red shorts. The man, I mean, you guys know who I'm rooting for. It's sure as shit not Takeda. So I'm going to have to go with Kiyoshi. He's my man. I mean, I really hope he beats the hell. I beats the hell out of him. But now we get Nobuhiko Takeda. Fuck this man. Fuck this man in general, in specifics. God damn. I hate him. I hate him so much, ladies and gentlemen. And we get a shot of a crying girl in the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, I would be crying too, knowing that he's still in the ring after this long. But, you know, what can you do? Thankfully, he's taking himself out, so let's go. We have a shot of the ref explaining the rules. He's telling Takeshi to please elbow Takeda. Please punch him. Takeda doesn't look very happy with these rules, but I don't really care. This is the way it is. Takeda looks around the crowd. Everybody is hating him. Everybody's applauding the fact that he's about to get beaten up. Don't let them confuse you, listeners. That's exactly what's going to happen. We get a little commentary about Quadro saying Takeda has only fought tough fighters in his MMA career. Ladies and gentlemen, that is just angering me.
He's fought only tough fighters in his mixed martial art fighting career.
That is so much a lie. But anyway, let's get into the fight. Tamura starts with a weak kick, the kind you would see in ballet. But Takeda once again showing up his style of not being able to fight by dancing around the ring. That is the Takeda Dojo special, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him. Look at him just dancing around like an asshole. Fights Takeda once again. No, he feints some punches, but of course he doesn't know how to fight, listeners. And so nothing is going to happen. Oh, he tries a kick. Oh my goodness. Almost gets counted, almost gets beat up. I would have been happy. Tamura and Takeda swapping face blows, but nothing I would write home about, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty, most dancing around the ring. There's, Takeda, wild kick goes wild, of course. He's just in for the show, he's not gonna fight. He's getting kicked in the leg. Tamura is landing some good leg kicks. Oh, sweeps the leg, Takeda is down. Like the ugliest turtle you have ever seen. I mean, he went down faster than the decline in his career. Sweet Jesus, he's like a turtle about to become soup. Takeda just lays there unable to do anything. I mean, the ref finally has to help him get up because there would have been no fight here. Tamura, of course, looking dominant, which we expected all along. A couple more leg kicks. Takeda's going to be feeling those. His leg, you can tell he's already limping. Why is Takeda got bandages all over? God only knows. I mean, he just wants an excuse for when he loses. It's like, oh, I was already hurt. No. But anyway, we got some more dancing around the ring. He's getting a lot of low kicks, but we know because Takeda has no defense. He's just god-awful. Just god-awful, ladies and gentlemen. Tamura landing some really nice kicks, but I wish he would just go in even more. Just a couple more face blows to hurt that face. Maybe, you know what? There hasn't been any face blows. I wonder if there's like a decree before the fight that no face blows so Takeda wouldn't lose his face. I mean, he has no pride, he has nothing, but let him keep his face. We got a couple more leg kicks, a couple more Takeda trying to go in with a couple punches, but lands absolutely nothing. Both fighters just around the ring. This is not so far. This has been a Takeda main event, ladies and gentlemen. Not that much excitement. But hey, what else would you expect out of this man? So now we have a little bit more dancing or nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to point out, I want to give a shout out to the most dangerous man alive today. He has kept this channel alive. He has worked hard. And he told me, hey, Takeda's coming in for a last fight. And I'm like, what? Let's do this. But then, you know, the coronavirus hit and nobody can get around nobody. So, you know what? I'm like, no, I'm going to hack the internet and I'm still going to be on this video. And damn right I am. Oh my goodness. A blow lands on Takeda's, well, unmentionables. I mean, I don't know what he's holding. We all know Takeda has nothing down there, man. He has no balls. All right, ladies and gentlemen. But he is down. He is down. Oh, are we going to see a fight canceled? Why isn't Takeda wearing a cup? That kick grazed. Had he been wearing a cup, nothing would have happened. No, this is... I can't tell you. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to a quick intermission while he recovers. So I believe this is a perfect time, and I mean perfect time, to once again, I want you all to join with me. I want everybody in the comments and everyone, join me for a fuck you, Takeda. I mean, he should have stayed as a promoter. He should have stayed as a wrestler, but he tried his luck as MMA. He thought himself better than he was, and he just wasn't. I mean, as a promoter, hell, he is the reason we have Pride, and therefore the reason Pride Resurrection even exists. So that would have been amazing. But every time he gets on the ring, he fails miserably. He brings some of the most boring fights you could ever see, unless he pays the other fighter. Then, you know, he can win this shit. I think his MMA career is like, what, 2-27? At least that's what I hope. No, because that's too many fights, ladies and gentlemen. So there would not be. They're still waiting for Takeda to get up. The doctors are there. One of the refs comes over, tell him that exactly Tamura what he did. Tamura doesn't believe it. I don't believe it. I think Takeda is just buying time to be in the ring. We get a shot of the crying lady, who I'm now informed is Takeda's wife. And I'm sorry for her. I'm really sorry. I hope things have changed in the last 20 years, but I mean, maybe she's in it for the money. Can't blame her. Can't blame him. He's not gonna have any nuts after this one. But all right, listeners, I really hope you. How about this, listeners? Let's do this while we're still waiting for Takeda to recover. How about right now? You guys go down in the comment section and you tell me. 1. Do you hate Takeda? Like I do. I don't know. Look, let's get this straight. Nobody hates him like I do. But do you hate him? Do you like him? Do you like him as an MMA fighter? Like I said, as a wrestler and as a promoter, there is nothing, absolutely nothing you can say about him. Because he has been done pretty well. I mean, he now has risen. But yeah, so... Oh, okay, never mind. They just showed a replay of the unintentional shot, and that did land, like, with the point of the kick. That's gonna hurt. That is gonna hurt. All right. I retract my statement. There was a hit, and it was pretty good. But at the same time, that makes me really, really happy. Because, damn it, he deserved that. But anyway, as I was saying, in the comments, I want you to write, 1, why do you hate Takeda? And 2, what is your worst or best Takeda moment? Which fight do you prefer from him? Do you disagree with me? Is Takeda a good MMA fighter? We're going to argue in the comments about this every day. I'm going to check these comments every day. And I better see some comments about either your love of your hate of Takeda, because this is his final fight as an MMA fighter. And thank God for that. And really thank God for me, because I have been the only honest voice on the internet when it comes to Takeda as an MMA wrestler. It has been me and only me. Quadros and Boss talking about Takeda going out on a no contest, which would be an improvement on his normal fights. But Tomura is feeling kind of guilty. I mean, he wants to beat him fair and square, which is easy. And you know, it's not. It's I don't know why they get disqualified. He was aiming for the leg. Takeda's the one that shot back and then got hit in the nuts. So it's all Takeda's fault, and as well as should be. That's exactly where we should be going. Oh, Takeda's starting to get up. Oh, they're trying to. His coach is telling him this is just puberty. It's usually when balls drop, if you had any. Takeda did not like that comment. He's just looking down in pure shame. This is the longest break ever. I mean, it is because it's Takeda's final fight. I would assume that they don't want to cancel it. But, you know, this is how it works. All right, but he is back up. He is limping, but he is walking. I think he's getting asked if he's going to keep on the fight. And there he goes. I think he's in. He's going to be he's drinking some water, going to energize himself. He needs a new mouth guard because apparently he bit through it when he got kicked in the nuts. I mean, understandably so. Tomura looks up. The audience is clapping because Takeda gets to be beat up some more. So let us go into it. All right, he is back in. There goes the mouth guard, and we are into the battle. Just want to point out the bandages he has on his left arm seem to be pink. I don't understand what's all with the pink. I don't get it. But I think he's getting ready. He's psyching himself out. So, all right, and here we go. The resume call has been made. So Takeda now again the same pose, same everything, the same dance. Oh, he switched poses around. He switches stances. Once again, nothing happening, folks. Like, this is the kind of fight I don't like. They're dancing. Oh, and he got another kick. I mean, as much as the nut kick hurts, these kicks. Oh, look at that. Tomura landing some sweet freaking leg kicks. Takeda's leg has got it has got us to be start hurting because it's the one that does not have any bandages or anything. It just has the knee guard, and he's been landing at least a dozen of these kicks. Takeda hasn't done anything. He tries for a little offense with punches, but does absolutely nothing. Takeda's got to do something. This is his final fight, folks, and he is literally just standing back and getting kicked. That's all he's doing. That is the extent of his talent as an MMA fighter. So, like, Takeda's, you can start seeing the right leg of Takeda, like, start getting red. Those kicks gotta have some impact. Look at that. And just, he has no defense for them. He's not even trying to block them. And he keeps putting that leg forward. I assume the other leg, he might be still injured in the leg because of the bandages. I'm just assuming. Maybe Takeda, he auditioned for the movie The Mummy. And I don't know, maybe he just didn't make it, and he didn't have time to change by the time he got back. Oh, another good leg kick. Takeda, look at that. He just has no defense. He keeps getting hit in the back on that leg. Oh my God, the bruise is amazing, and he gets it kicked again and again. He is driven to the ropes because he does not have any defense against kicks. The most basic move in MMA. Oh, Takeda goes on the offensive, lands a good couple punches.
Yeah. He's got at the moment he gives the kick. Takeda should take it and give him a left straight. That's what Takeda should do. Coming in out.
Takeda's got to try. Takeda knows he got to try something.
Got to do something.
Yeah. But
that's what he should do.
He finally has something out there. He's staying in the range of the kicks. He grabs that kick and they go down. Takeda finally being able to do something. Brings Tomura down on the ground and has full guard. Thankfully, Takeda is not going to be receiving any more kicks in this scenario, but is he going to be able to do absolutely anything in this one? Takada's trying to get out to get some more punches, but nothing. Tamura keeping him close to him in this full guard. The ref calls for action, but clearly neither of these fighters knows English. So I don't know. Oh my God, Takeda doing the most wussy punches ever, like taps. Like I think he's trying to comb his hair more than anything. I can't really tell. Folks, this is his final fight. He is not trying to do anything. He's just laying there, doing absolutely nothing. He's got full guard. At this point, try something. Some body blows, something, but he is just nothing. Tamura has been really good at keeping his face down. Takeda's face close to him so he can't get any momentum. Oh, Takeda gets his arm in, tries to... Nope, loses that grip. This is not going out well for Takeda. Trying to switch around, but he fails, and now Tamura has the full guard. So look at that. The first thing he does on the ground, and he fucking loses full guard. So Tamura, I don't know what he's doing. He's praying. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the point of the fight that I'm like, Tamura has been dominating, and now there's this thing where they're neither one of them doing anything. Like, it's giving Takeda a moment to rest. And I don't know why. I don't know why Tamura just doesn't land a couple hammer blows. It shouldn't be that difficult, honestly. But he's doing absolutely nothing. Oh, look at that. Look at those Takeda little blows to the, shoulder like it would be anything. It's so sad. Even Quadros and Boss are like, what the heck are these punches? These are like the weakest punches we've ever seen. It's like, look at that. There's no momentum behind them. There's nothing. These punches aren't doing anything. He tries to do a rake across the face. I'm pretty sure that's illegal even in wrestling, and Takeda should know better. But, ladies and gentlemen, we get the second call to action from the refs. And Takeda and Tamura still nothing. Absolutely nothing. No movement from either one of them other than the weakest punches in the history of the world. But, that's just how this thing is. We get some more of absolutely nothing. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a fight. This is the epitome of a Takeda fight. Absolutely no action other than getting beat up. How long has Takeda had to get better as a fighter? Huh? Come on, guys. At the beginning, you could tell it's like, okay, maybe he just came from wrestling, didn't train enough. But he's had plenty of fights now. He knows how this business works, and he is still freaking useless. I just don't understand. There should be some action here, but both fighters... Oh, look at that. Tamura literally just stood up without any trouble. Like, he just stood up and just got away. That's all it was. I mean, what? Takeda does absolutely nothing for it. Nothing. He doesn't even try. He's not even getting up. He's trying to slide on the ground. He's trying to buy himself some time. Finally, he is up, and finally we're back. So yes, Tamura and that's the end of the round, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so first round, what's going on? Here's the deal. Tamura has beaten the hell out of Takeda. His leg is bruised and bloody, but I don't know what the hell happened there. They went to the ground and neither fighter did anything. And it just makes no sense, folks. It just makes no sense. Alrighty. I mean, honestly, it makes you wonder if there's like a certain deal where Tamura is not allowed to finish this fight in one round. Because he could have. He easily could have finished this because Takeda has shown nothing. Look at those. We got a quick, good replays of some of the good, clean leg kicks. Takeda's right leg has got to be feeling bad. I'm surprised he's not limping, but you know what? Whatever. So, folks, how are you all doing during this time of quarantine? For those of you listening to this months from now, just know that there was a time when we were all stuck in our houses. Well, not me. I'm an essential worker, so I still have to go into work. Because I'm lucky that way. I get to go and get sick wherever the hell it is. That's what that's what happens when you make a career out of fixing computers. They make you go and fix computers, even when society is ending. There will still be computers. Apparently, that's what I've learned through this. But I am glad to be back here, at least for this fight, listeners. I'm glad to be back in Pride Resurrection. With timing and everything, we have not been able to record together, but the Most Dangerous Man Alive today has kept the channel alive, has kept it going, and he has done a great job. So honestly, once this whole ends and society finally ends, I think the Most Dangerous Man Alive today, we need to go out, we need to get sushi, and we need to get some drinks. Hell yeah, that's how it works out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are starting the second round. Once again, we get a little bit of a dance here, nothing major, but oh, another kick. And Takeda still doesn't defend for shit. Like, look at this, 2 kicks and still no defense from Takeda. But he's not really doing anything, but Takeda, like, yeah, Quadro brings up the point that, Boss brings up the point that Takeda seems to be like chewing gum. So if he gets hit in the face, it would be a problem. But I really think that there's something against hitting him in the face, because he's leaving his face wide open, and Tamura's doing nothing. Tamura, all he's doing is leg kicks, which is, you know, a good strategy, but he clearly should be able to overpower Takeda. A couple quick head blows. Oh, Takeda goes on the offensive, but he gets countered with a blow in the face, and the fight is over, ladies and gentlemen. The one time Takeda tries anything, and he gets knocked the fuck out to the ground.
Bold mouthpiece.
Bang! Oh, that's it, folks! That's it! The fight is over!
Oh my God, that was a hard shot.
That was a beautiful right hand. Takeda came rumbling in, and Tamura stepped back and cracked him across the jaw.
A shot at Takeda's face. You can tell he doesn't know what just happened. I know what happened. He just got knocked down. What a blow, and what a fitting fight for his last fight. Displaying every talent Takeda never had in the ring for all of us to see one more time. Thankfully, this is the last time. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is it, folks. This is Takeda's time in the ring. And from all of us at Pride Resurrection, we wish him the greatest. Fuck you, Takeda! And I will now pour some of this King Cobra I am drinking in memory of all of these shitty fights he put us through. So from Pride Resurrection, this has been the Colombian Good Vibe, hacking the internet to bring you this fight. Now, back to the most dangerous man alive today for our good old outro.
So, for the Colombian Good Vibe, woo! The machine who's somewhere out there, I am the most dangerous man alive today, and I wish you goodbye, good luck, and we'll sniff you fucking jerks later.
Fuck you, Takeda.